Be strong.
Welcome to Bear Blast, the podcast where we dive into all things Mott Community College. I'm your host, Alicia Turner, the coordinator for Student Life, and today I'm joined by some very special guests from our Student Presidential Advisory Council, also known as SPAC. These incredible students work directly with MCC's leadership, representing the student body and making positive change on campus. Together, we'll explore their experiences, discussing upcoming initiatives, and give you an inside look at projects happening in our community. So whether you're here for the latest campus news or student success stories, or maybe you just want to get more connected with MCC, you are in the right place. So let's get started. Hi, guys. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming, and I'm really excited to talk about our topic for the day. So our main topic that we would like to discuss with SPAC and our special guest is building your network, why student involvement matters, the importance of joining clubs, participating in events, and connecting with peers. So thank you for showing up today. I know you guys have a lot of opinions about this and you're excited to talk about it, but before we do that, I just want to get into a little bit about introductions. I want to know who you are, and of course you brought a lovely special guest with you, so we want to know about her as well. So do me a favor, tell me, what is your name? What is your major? And maybe you have some extra information. Maybe you're affiliated with a club, since we're specifically talking about that today. Tell us a little bit about that as well.
My name is Devin Meyer, and I am a part of SPAC as well, and I am in the Student Physical Therapist Assistant Program in Mott Community College, and I'm also a part of the SPTA program in Fenton, and I'm the president.
Nice. Welcome. Thank you for coming.
My name is Kayla. I'm also a part of Student Physical Therapy, and I'm also a part of SPAC.
My name is Grant. I'm currently studying business here at Mott. I'm also a member of SPAC as well as the CLEF committee here as well.
My name is Mahmouda. I'm an international student here, and I'm studying nursing prereqs, and I'm also a member of SPAC.
Awesome. Welcome, guys. Thank you so much for coming. I know we've had other SPAC students on some other episodes, so this is just an addition to that. We have actually currently 8 students that are on the committee for that, and it's actually a pretty cool representation of the student success here at the college. Their objective is to listen to you as students and ask what you are dealing with about school, what we can do as an institution to help you more, and what also your peers can do to help you. Also, maybe if you have some issues with processes at the college, we're here to listen. And so these guys are a great avenue for that information. And so if you have any interest in participating with SPAC, or you would like to know a little bit more information about the committee itself, you can come into Student Life and we can give you all the details, or you can catch one of these lovely people out on the street, as they say, and ask them a couple questions. And I'm sure they'd have lots of good things, I hope, to say about the program. But that being said, I know that you brought a special guest with you to talk about this very specific topic. So let's hear a little bit about you.
Thank you. My name is Carrie Devon. I am one of the professors here at Mott Community College. I teach management and business. I'm also a part of the IAEP Advisory Board, which is the International Advisory Board, where we work with our international students and we do study abroads and all kinds of great things here at Mott.
Awesome. So who's ready to talk about activities? I think this is going to be a good conversation. I know that this is not typically, everybody doesn't know really how to do podcasts and what to talk about and everything that comes with it, but we're encouraging you guys. We're here to get details from you. I am not currently a student, obviously, but I'm from the student perspective. So tell me a little bit about this. So what is student involvement to begin with? Tell me a little bit, like, we're talking about building your network and why student involvement matters. What does student involvement look like to you, specifically at Mott?
I would just say that I think kind of connecting with everybody is just something that's always important. You can kind of learn why everybody's here, learn different interests, and find people that also share the same interest in you, and also just kind of keeping yourself involved.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I think especially when I first started here at Mott, the world all of a sudden gets a lot bigger when you come out of high school and you get into college. And it can be overwhelming for a lot of students, and I think I definitely fit into that category. I was definitely nervous about putting myself out there, but once you start to get involved, especially not just with your college but your community, opportunities arise that you didn't know of before.
That's a good point. No, that's all good. Anybody else have anything?
I agree with both of them on what they were saying. Before I joined Mott, I kind of didn't really have any shared interests until I joined the SPAC and the SPTA group, and now I have lifelong friendships that I plan to keep after I even graduate college.
All right. And maybe from a staff perspective, what is a value that you think is important for students when it comes to getting involved? Like you said that you're a professor, so there's a certain level of involvement inside the classroom. What do you think about outside the classroom?
Yeah, thank you for asking that. I think it's a really important thing to get to know your colleagues. One of the things that I think will help you is meeting people, and you do meet lifelong friends, and they know where you started. And as you continue to grow in your career and you graduate, you will continue those friendships, and they can help guide you throughout your life. And it's really helpful because they know who you are before you become who you are once you graduate. So it's really important. And joining organizations that have the same interests that you have, then you know that the people you're surrounding yourself with have those same interests, and they can always help pull you back on track, because sometimes you will veer off a bit. So it's very helpful to have those people in your life.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think yesterday we recorded another podcast episode about also time management and being available as a student to understand tips and resources about Mott and like things that you could really get involved in. And this topic came up in that conversation. One of the biggest tips was, trying to get involved and get out of your comfort zone and understand that the only person that can help you inevitably is you. So if you're not going to put in the effort and make an active or give an active participation to activities and getting outside of the classroom and trying to go and meet faculty and staff that you might not see regularly, or like friends and family that can influence you to go get involved with your, local sports teams or whatever's going on at your college. I think those are incredibly important opportunities.
To piggyback on that, it's super important because when you're outside of the classroom, you find that you have other interests, and it does help because you have your classwork you need to study for. You have your outside activities. You have your family life. You have things outside of that you do need to figure out, how do I do all of these things within this time frame that I have allotted to complete those things? And it helps you to do that, because one of the things that you're going to have to learn throughout life and as you venture off into your career is having that proper time management, because when you have a deadline, your deadline is your deadline. And in the workforce, there's no, I forgot, or so it's really important to learn how to do that now. And that's what, going to college does, and having different organizations that you're a part of, because you learn those skills, I think, a little bit more than just going into the classroom.
Yeah, for sure.
And I guess in your life, it's not all about study, but when you have friends through the class, then you are more into talking about class homeworks, this kind of stuff. But when you are in a clubs or any events or working on with an organization, then you are trying to experience life and sharing experience from the different views and talking about other stuffs you have going on your life. So it's really important to have that connection and have that different community in your life, so that you are not just here for your study and you can connect other stuffs with them.
Yeah, that's a good point. What do you guys think about Mott specifically? So now we've talked about the general idea of what it means to get involved and how that can benefit you, and we'll talk a little bit more about networking and post-career and things like that we're going to chat about a little bit later. But for now, when it comes to Mott specifically, as if we're talking to the average student, which we are, what resources and what opportunities does Mott currently have that you guys know of?
Are you referring to networking or just in general?
Both. Both.
So I know for our program specifically, our professors have went out of their way to let us do networking with athletics and respiratory therapy. We've done collaborations with them. So we've made friendships within those programs as well now, which kind of makes it just a little bit easier because you start to see familiar faces throughout the college now. And our professors over in the Fenton location, they do a good job of exposing us to everything that we need.
Nice. That's really cool. What else? What else do you guys see around campus?
Mott is a very, very diverse campus. We have people of all ages, races, religions here. And I think in life it's very easy to find yourself getting comfortable surrounding yourself with people that agree or have the same views as you, or even just live their lives similar to how you do. And when you get involved here at Mott, whether that be through any type of program or group, you are almost forced to relate to other people who don't live life the same way as you, and you're exposed to different ways of thinking that causes you to grow and change as a person that I think is really unique to Mott and its community college aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in bigger universities, you tend to find similar age groups and very easy just to slide through without really connecting to people. In Mott, it really does seem like it's important for the culture for us all to get to know one another.
So, okay, that's great. I think that a lot of people do also consider the fact that there are so many resources. Sometimes it gets overwhelming. So to bring down the specifics of it, we have what clubs do we have?
You have the Black Student Union.
Yeah,
You have, I think there is almost for every ethnicity.
usually yes. Yeah.
Yep. And then we also have resources like the care team. So if you are experiencing, maybe some mental health issues or you feel a little overwhelmed, we have the care team that will help you. We have the Student Life Center, of course, where it brings everybody together and you can, meet with like people, and there's always something going on in student life that supports what's happening in the community. The Lenore Crowdy building, we have that as a resource where if you are if you're hungry and you need to get something to eat, we have a pantry. We also have, say you have an interview coming up, but you don't have the resources to buy a suit, or you just might need a winter jacket. We have Ellen's Closet where you can go and get some clothes. Also, a lot of your professors, I know you want to make sure my students are full and healthy when they're coming to the classroom. So I always, and a lot of the instructors bring like apples and little cuties and things to keep you nourished throughout the class period. So there are a number of resources here at the college that help you. We have the library, and they have a wealth of knowledge at the library that will help you as well. So there are a ton of resources. And if you're not sure where to go, if you ask one of your professors, they can steer you in the right direction as to who you should talk to. Carla Clark is a great person. We have advocates. We have just recently opened the Adult Student Center, and there are advocates to help people and it's a pilot program right now. If you are, I think it helps students 23 and over who are just coming back to college, and they're a little nervous because college looks a lot different than when they went to school. So we are not shy, and that's historically, and hopefully those things will stay in place.
Okay, so what specifically when we're talking about activities and participation and connecting with your peers, we all know that we have opportunities in case you need something personally, but how about something like to connect you with someone else? What do we have that's available on campus? For example, when you're feeling socially anxious or shy and you don't really want to raise your hand in class, but you're struggling a little bit. So you might need a friend. You might need somebody who's a little bit more outgoing. What is the best source for you to find friendships and to kind of get yourself out there, out of your comfort zone on campus? If you were a student, where would you go?
I would say student life is the best. Because when I first came here as an international student, I struggled a lot to make friends. And during class, it's really hard to make friends because everyone like after class they just run to work or go home, or they have friends, so they are not like more willing to make new friends. So if you come to student life, it's like when you are talking about clubs and organization, they do have like if certain interests, like everyone in this club we have same interest. But at student life you will find people who have like multiple interests. It's not like just all about, oh, we are like a travel club, so we are more working with like traveling and this kind of stuff. Student life works like on everything. So you will find different types of people, and you will find, and all of the information, you will meet people, they will help you to join other clubs too. So I would say like if you want to start, you don't know like where to start to join any clubs or organization, I would say just come to the student life and you will meet a bunch of people to find your specific interest and go to the right direction.
Yeah, that's a great tip. I think that for those that are curious about what Mahmouda is talking about, the Student Life office is located in the Curtis Mott building, which is in the center part of campus. If you go into the sliding doors right out front and you hang left, there's a room called Curtis Mott 1129 or the Student Life Common Room. You can come in. My office is there, and Casey Newvine's office is here as well. And we also have student employees. They all wear yellow vests. So if you see them and you're like, hey, I don't know anything about student life, I want to get involved, I want to join a club, I want to make new friends, you come into Student Life, find somebody in a yellow vest, and they can help you. We use that as an easy identifier so that people aren't confused as to who doesn't work here and who does work here. But they have a plethora of information. We have, just for all of you to know, we have 44 clubs currently, which is far and above what we've had before. And we have 56 advisors of those clubs. So those are faculty and staff members who are active participants in those clubs and helping to guide them and getting them resources and helping to teach them social skills and get them out and active in their communities. But we also involved in every one of our clubs. We have a structure that allows for 4 officers, a president, a vice president, a secretary, and a treasurer, with a couple of exceptions to the long list of leadership. But if you're looking for a leadership position, you can come and join a club, and you can be a part of those officer committees. You can help lead your group into the right direction. Maybe you're out there, given the current political climate, and you're thinking, I want to be an advocate for something. We have groups that specialize in that. We have groups that, like you mentioned, are specific ethnicities. We have groups that are solely about sports, if that's something you want to do. Maybe you just really need to get some energy out and some anger because you just failed a test. You're going to always join a club where you can throw a ball around for a while, or maybe, punch a couple things, and not people, but things. And so there are opportunities, lots and lots of opportunities for you to get involved. And it's important because it can help do things like that, right? It can help alleviate stress. It can help give you the opportunity to meet new people and broaden your horizon a little bit and learn about different viewpoints, as you mentioned. Yeah. And being able to see things from a different perspective and learn about cultures. Like Mahmouda said, you were not born in the United States. So it's a good perspective just to have somebody that you can have a conversation about that. Maybe a person from here in Flint, Michigan, specifically Genesee County. You guys have not ever left Genesee County. And the only way and maybe that's not in your future. Maybe you can't leave Genesee County, and that's totally fine. But at least you can almost live vicariously through someone else, and you can have good conversations, right? Get that worldview, that perspective, that learning about someone else, which I think is incredibly important. And these things can really help you in your future, which is actually the next question I have for you. So when you want to expand your network, we're not necessarily talking just about Mott, right? We're talking about our futures and where you're going to go next and what's going to happen in your job. And so as a result, what roles do clubs and student organizations play in expanding your network? What do you think that could offer to a student who's considering maybe joining a social group of some kind? Maybe it's not even through student life. Maybe it's outside of the college. How is that important, and how will that benefit students going forward?
I would say just kind of getting yourself involved and getting yourself used to maybe starting something a little more uncomfortable just because it's unusual to you, and just kind of learning how to kind of deal with it. And you can also, again, kind of become a leader in that group and just kind of give yourself those skills that you may need after college. But I really think the biggest thing would just be starting yourself somewhere you're not familiar with and then kind of going from there.
There is something great that we have going on here. It's unique to community colleges, and that would be the study abroad program, which does take you outside of your comfort zone, and you meet a lot of different people, especially if you happen to get into a study abroad that has different, who's made it, a conscientious effort to bring in all different types of people from different backgrounds. And then you get to travel to a whole nother country and culture and meet those people. And a lot of times, hopefully, you can make some lifelong friends from that as well. And it's a great way to learn about different cultures. You network differently with different people, and that also helps with those things. And the great thing that I love that you said is the way you really grow is to be uncomfortable. So when you put yourself in a situation that is unique to you and outside of your comfort zone, that's where real growth happens. And it helps you push the buttons a little bit further.
I agree, and I also think starting small, just doing a community project, maybe a smaller one, before diving into something huge is a good way to just start to get involved and kind of feel like on what you want to get involved in before you jump into something fully.
And when you think something like I wanted to do it or something like that, but when you like in real life you experience that, you will have like more self-confidence. And throughout the clubs and organization, the network you are gonna build, it's like as a human, we don't specifically just like when we are talking with friends or like with other club members, we just don't talk about just the club issues or something like that. We also do share about like their life experiences and their future plans and everything. And then it will change your mind and it will modify your life plan and everything, because then you will find better way to do how to do better in this criteria or something else like this.
Yeah. No, that's really important to touch on. I think that a lot of people don't consider also the fact that sometimes it can be a benefit and sometimes it can be a curse. Like if you get too involved, we've had that conversation a lot as well, especially with highly motivated students who are like, yes, I'm diving in full force. I'm going to join everything. We have one student right now who's currently a member of 7 clubs. and she's doing a great job. Fortunately, we have in student life a rule where you can only be leadership of 2 clubs at a time, and so that kind of brings it down a little bit, just to kind of make sure that you understand, like, yes, we're here to promote the social activity and making sure that you guys are getting out. And college is not just about academics; it's also about other things. Academics are important, and they're the most important thing. However, we also want to touch on the things that you can learn outside the classroom, but sometimes you get a little too involved. And so time management, which was what the last episode was about, talking specifically about making sure that everybody understands that there is a time and a place for involvement, and but understanding too that like you can be as involved as you want. We just encourage you to be involved at some capacity, getting out, volunteering in your community, giving back to the people near you, your neighbors, things like that. All of that can be done from the perspective of college or getting that jump start in college, because you can move forward, and when you're gone and you're out of college, you'll have plenty of opportunities to also get involved later. And we hope that is sustained once you learn something like that here. We'll see how that goes for some people. But one thing I want to know from each of you is, can you share a personal story or example of how being involved in a club or a student organization has positively impacted a student's college experience or your college experience? Give me something personal, like what we've talked about before in podcast episodes, and like especially relating to specifically with students, is that people tend to listen more and identify more when you're talking about yourself. So tell me a little bit about you and how that is your involvement in these activities and these groups of people. And maybe you had some when you were in college, I don't know, how that benefited you and how that could possibly translate into benefiting somebody else later down the road.
When I first started at Mott, I was very reclusive. I was not very involved. and that reflected in my ambition in pursuing my education. And then luckily enough, last year I met Miss Devone and I studied abroad with her to Costa Rica. And it really hammered home what I want to do with my life. Having that experience of networking and experiencing a new culture, and also just like deciding on what kind of work I want to do with the rest of my life, has really set me forward in my participation in my classes. In my involvement, I'm now became a member of the SBAC. I'm a member of CLEF, and I just now I have a whole new appreciation for being involved in not only my community but my college and my own academic education.
Tell me a little bit about what's CLEF.
So CLEF, we handle disbursement of funds to groups here at Mott Community College. You'll come in and you'll present how your group activity, whatever that funding will be for, how it's going to benefit not only Mott Community College, but your education and your networking with those in college and in your future career paths. And I did not realize how many clubs, I had no idea.
Yeah.
And just being able to be a part of that and see so many different perspectives and so many different career paths has really, made me realize how diverse this college is.
Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense. I think CLEF is a good example, actually. Obviously, I know what CLEF is. I just wanted you to tell them. But I think CLEF is a really good example of a way to get involved at the top level. So, like as we mentioned, we have a lot of clubs here, and it's not even just for clubs. It's for regular, organized students. Maybe a group of 3 people that want to go to Costa Rica, and we don't have a trip that goes to Costa Rica, maybe, and that's something that you're very passionate about. You come to CLEF, you do a presentation based on the plans for how you intend to use the money and how that money is going, and this trip is going to benefit the student population, not just you that's going on the trip, but what are you going to bring back from that experience that will help to directly impact the student population. And so I think CLEF is a great idea because it comes from students. So one thing about CLEF and in particular is that it is made up of 10 students on a committee called the CLEF Committee, and 4 faculty or staff that are willing to participate. And all 14 of those people vote on these presentations. And they give special information on, why maybe things that might need to be tweaked. Hey, we're not thinking that you're thinking too much, or you're not thinking enough about global awareness, which is one of our criteria that you have to talk about, and how that's going to impact the way that your club or your group goes on your said trip, etc. And these people decide on whether or not that money should be awarded to you based on your presentation and what they think that impact will have once you come back. So that's one way to get involved. If you don't want to be directly involved with it, necessarily a club, there are other organizations like SPAC and like the CLEF Committee that you could also get involved in, especially if you're like a business student. CLEF is the perfect place to be. It's all numbers and it's all, board meetings, and if you're an accountant, maybe that's something you want to look into. But otherwise, it's actually really fun. We get to see and experience and live vicariously through others while they go off and they do their different adventures and things, and we get to hear a lot about that too. So that's one great opportunity. But what else? What else are you guys involved in, or what has impacted you?
I would say for me personally, being a part of SPAC and SPTA has truly just helped me mentally. I connected with a lot of different people that I obviously did not know beforehand, and kind of going through the program, it gets hard, assignments get to build up and it just becomes a lot, but I think just having that connection and having someone to kind of help push you through to your goals, because it's also their same goals, has what's really kind of helped me a lot. I would like to get out and do more, hopefully, and become a part of more clubs. But I would just say that the friendships that I have gotten from these clubs has been the biggest thing.
And I would say the self-confidence you got, like when you are handling with your studies and clubs and everything, the self-confidence you got, it's a lot. It will boost your self-confidence.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think in our last episode, Sina was talking about that, and like coming to this country and not English is not your first language, and like you have to build that confidence by going and talking to people and meeting each other and understanding that there's community there as well, which is important.
Like before coming here, I was really scared that English is not my first language. I don't know how I will talk with people, and are they gonna like understand what I am trying to say or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was really extrovert back in my country, so I was really feel lonely, like when I'm here and I don't have that much friend, I don't have that much bonding or like connection with any clubs and organization. But when I get into the clubs and started talking with people, and everyone is so friendly, and you will know like different opportunities, because coming from a different country, everyone knows something that you have this opportunity here, but for me, I didn't even know anything because everything is new. So those clubs like student life helped me a lot to find out where I should go.
Yeah.
So
well, I'm glad to hear that, because I know that that's a lot of students' experience, and trying to figure out a place where you feel like you belong. I know when I was in college, which was a long time ago, and I've mentioned that on previous episodes, I definitely remember not getting involved. I was more focused on my academics and trying to make sure that I was not a good high school student at all, actually. I was like maybe a low C average. And so for me, coming to college, I was already focused on the fact, like, I was a non-traditional student, and I'm like, listen, I got to make sure that I've got my A in place, and that's the most important thing to me. But the thing I missed out on was the social aspect, and I was going through a lot of what I consider my own social crisis at that time, because I made a lot of personal changes morally, socially, all those types of things, and I did it all by myself, which is a struggle, and I don't recommend that to a lot of people. But coming to a school, we hope that you come to Mott. But even if you haven't registered already, but if you're currently here, come in and get involved and talk about, there are a lot of options. There's so many options. We don't even have a long enough podcast to talk about all the options. So if you are interested at all and you want to come in, and maybe you are, as we were talking about with SPTA, like maybe you're a student who is an undecided degree, and you're like, you know what, I don't really know what I want to do with the rest of my life, and I'm too afraid to commit, which is understandable. I've been there. You can come and you can talk to these clubs and see, maybe they have a time where you can come visit them and learn about their program, and you can see maybe you want to be a student physical therapist, or maybe you want to be in the nurses association and try to figure out if that's the path you want to take. Maybe you want to consider being an interpreter for sign language, but you're not ready to commit to that. You go talk to the ASL club and see if you can join in a little bit about what they're doing in their community, and see it from that ground perspective first. And then you can decide, do I want to spend my money on this? Like, is this something that's going to benefit me in the future long term? Coming from a person that changed their major twice, I would have much benefited from the opportunity to go see those things before I committed to that. But that might not be the answer for everybody. And maybe to our introverted crowd out there, maybe you are feeling the pressure a little bit too much, and it's a little intimidating. I will let you know, we do have groups for that as well. People who are not interested in talking to each other. They just want to do things like we have a club called the Page Turner Society. Their main objective is to read books together and do as little amount of talking as possible. So if that's something that you want to join, and you can still be involved and you can still have your social network, there's something for everybody, and you just got to get out there. You got to reach out and try to get involved with people. I think it's incredibly important to stretch yourself while you're in college. This is a time for you to do that. So it's going to be a choice of yours to take down in the future and see if that's something that will benefit you long term. I personally think that it will, but I appreciate you guys for coming. Thank you so much for coming to talk about this topic. I know it's very broad, and it's not entirely something that we can tackle all in 30 minutes of one episode. So I'm sure that this topic will come up again, but I appreciate your expertise and coming in to chat a little bit about your experience. This has been a great opportunity thus far. So I just wanted to say, with that, this wraps up this episode of Bear Blast. Thank you. A huge thank you to our SPAC members for joining us and sharing their insight on what's happening behind the scenes at MCC. Remember, students, it is about creating experience, building connections, and making an impact. And it's students like our SPAC guests who make it all possible. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, share with friends, and follow us for more updates on campus life and events. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, go Bears.